Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Techstars Startup Weekend. COVID-19 Canada.
Yeah, I
Well,
guess well, I was going to say, while we're all getting started, it's going to take a few minutes for everyone to join, and we have a super handy QR code on the screen here. So if you have a Twitter account, you can actually just use that QR code, and it'll create a click to tweet for you, so you can start spreading the word. And if you want to add a fun selfie to it, I think that would be a pretty cool idea as well.
and we're just going to remind everyone to use both hashtags. So the COVID-19 Startup Weekend, also our Canadian Startup Weekend, Online Canada. And we want to make it social, so get as many tweets as we can out there throughout the entire event. One of the things we wanted to remind you of early on is that we will be posting this slideshow once Danielle and I are finished this evening. So not to worry, all the slides will be there for you.
Yeah, so if you're on other channels that aren't Twitter, you can also tag the Techstars and the Startup Weekend accounts. So they're across all channels. They're super active. We are on Twitter. The handle is @SW Online Canada. We are also on Facebook, so you can find us there as well, and mark yourself as attending on the Facebook event and share that with your friends too.
So we're pausing here a little bit as we're expecting people are still getting up and signed in. But one of the things we wanted to make sure that you do as you get used to Discord is to make sure you find the Ask Me Anything button. That's going to be an important button, especially for those of you who are just joining and haven't had a chance to be in Discord and play around with it. And we want to remind you that there's no question is a bad question when it comes to technical questions or anything about the weekend. So please, we invite you to feel free to ask away. We have all of our organizers will be monitoring that, and that's a very quick and easy way to get a response.
Yeah, and if you haven't done so already, you can also introduce yourself. So once you're all set up on Discord, the Introduce Yourself channel is already super active. So go post your introduction. We encourage you to make it fun, share a fun photo, maybe a GIF, scroll and see who else has introduced themselves so far. Maybe you'll even find a couple of friends. I know that, so we actually in Calgary just hosted our last startup weekend at the end of February, so February 28th to March 1st. So we actually, that was right before we all went into isolation. And I know that there's quite a few Calgary folks from that startup weekend that are participating again already. So I'm super excited to see that.
Throughout this presentation, we're going to be talking about all the important things around team formation, checking out ideas, finding team members, also finding a team. So all of that will, Danielle and I will walk through that with you. One of the first things we wanted to do is just maybe start engaging with you on Twitter. So wanted to check to see how many of you, is this your first startup weekend, or is it your second, your third, your fourth? Use the QRL, send a tweet out letting us know how many startup weekends have you participated in already.
Awesome. Mary, how many have you done? I know you've done a ton.
This is my 14th startup weekend, if you can believe it. We started first doing startup weekend in 2011 in Halifax, and I've facilitated startup weekends in other parts of the country, mostly Atlantic Canada. But each and every time I come away with so many new ideas. I learned so much, and so for Danielle and I, our job for this weekend is to make sure that you have an amazing weekend and that we can provide the best experience possible for you. How about you, Danielle? How many startup weekends have you done?
I was just trying to think in my head because I was like, I thought that question might be coming next. I think it's 7. So I've done 5 as an organizer and 2 as a facilitator. Or sorry, this will be 7. So 4 as an organizer, 2 as a facilitator, and now this is my 3rd.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
No matter how many startup weekends you've done, this startup weekend is one of a kind. It's an amazing event, countrywide, with doing it remotely. So we're super excited. We also have 455 registrants. So at this for this weekend. So super pumped about what's about to unfold.
Same here. This has come together super quickly. So Techstars, is launching has been launched all of these events within the past couple of weeks. So both the Techstars team and this organizing team has been working super hard to make this happen very, very quickly. So we're really excited for what we've put together. Okay, and just a note, if you are having any trouble seeing the stream or any of the slides, just try and refresh your browser. That's kind of the first step in troubleshooting. If you are having other issues, again, flag those issues in the Ask Me Anything channel, and that way the organizers can either try to troubleshoot in the back end or they can give you a bit more support and show you what needs to be done.
So hopefully, Danielle, more people have been able to stream in and are now on board.
Yeah, shall we take it away and move on to the next slide?
Let's take it away.
Awesome.
So one of the things that it goes without saying, this is an unprecedented event. It's the first time ever happening, and you are part of an amazing journey this weekend. And it may not ever happen again, but it is. We want to encourage you to take full advantage of all the resources in terms of mentors, the facilitators, all the resources that are posted on Discord, and of course your teammates. So we encourage you to come into this weekend with an open mind and making sure that you're able to get the most from the weekend as possible. So this is what's extraordinary about this event and what's exciting is that this is countrywide. We have representation from across Canada, and we're about to together come together and do something, accomplish something very special. So we want to formally introduce ourselves. I'm Mary. My name is Mary Kilfoyle. I'm based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I have my own business, Innovate Atlantic Inc., which is helping businesses scale and develop go-to-market strategies. I also am associated with the university, Dalhousie University, and teach courses there. And I also sit on the Canadian Council for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. All of that by way of saying, very passionate about startups, generating innovation across Canada, and leveraging knowledge that we have in order to drive our economy.
Awesome. And my name is Danielle Torrey. So as I mentioned, I'm from Calgary and I'm on the Startup Calgary team. So we're part of Calgary Economic Development, and we host typically about 3 startup weekends a year. My background's primarily in marketing and communications. So that's also a big part of what I was supporting leading up to this startup weekend. I always like to share a couple of fun facts. I'd put them up on the introductions channel as well. So Mary, I want to hear yours too. So I'm going to flip it back to you after. But my one fun fact is that I could lick my elbow. It's a 1 in a million thing.
Oh,
I gotta share
very
that.
cool. Very cool.
It's not that cool, but it was like a surprise when I was younger that I figured out I could do that. I have a cat named Kylo Ren, and I say that because he's probably going to make an appearance at some point. Working from home, you just can't really stop that, so it's going to happen. But Mary, what are your fun facts?
Well, my fun facts, I posted them already in my introduction. So although I've lived a good part of my life in Halifax in the city, and Ottawa, Calgary, and other parts of Canada, including BC, I grew up on a potato farm in rural New Brunswick, and I'm the eldest of 9 children. So that's sort of an unusual thing in today's world. The other fun fact is I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan, and love 70s music in general.
Super cool. Awesome. And then I just want to point out one quick thing here. So I know that a lot of people are still trying to get sorted out on Discord. If you're having any challenges throughout the weekend where you can't access Discord, you just are really, really stuck and you're feeling like you have no way to get a hold of us, you can use the email at the bottom there. So it's canada@startupweekend.org. That goes out to our entire team. So someone will be able to get back to you really quickly on there as well.
Great. We want to give a huge shout out to the organizers of this event. So as you can see from the map, we want to give them a huge round of applause. We wish we had noisemakers, Danielle and I, but as you can see.
Oh, I made one actually, Mary. Just wait.
You did?
It's almonds in a jar, but we're going to do it anyway because I made one.
Awesome. These are the people that made this weekend happen. They're all volunteers. You're going to meet them throughout the course of the weekend. They're staying engaged in many capacities. Some of them are sub-facilitators. By the way, each team, once your team is formed, you'll be assigned a sub-facilitator, and they're going to help you navigate as you go through the weekend. But as you can see in this map, it covers all the organizers come from across Canada, and if you have any questions or need help during the weekend, they're here to help you. Danielle and I are here as facilitators, but again, for your go-to place is your Ask Me Anything channel, as well as the sub-facilitators. And we've heard of the expression, it takes a village. We are coming together in this event as one nation to fight COVID-19. And it's an incredible feat. We'll be working across 5 time zones from Newfoundland to Pacific. And each of us staying at home, but working together. And this is, again, unprecedented, first time ever happening. And we have a unified theme, COVID-19 making a difference. And for many of the issues and challenges that you'll be tackling this weekend, you'll develop solutions that will help people work from home to address those challenges. And we'll actually be applying this same scenario as we work together this weekend in real time. So we're staying at home and harnessing our collective brain power and talent, previous experience and knowledge to develop innovative solutions. So it's very exciting to be part of this event. one of the things we want to talk about is when availability for questions from the navigators. So Danielle, do you want to walk through the time? We're grappling with 5 time zones. So when will facilitators and navigators be available?
Yeah, so we'll all be available on Discord between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So a good thing to note is that everything that we've put out there in terms of timing is all in EST. So that'll be how you can stay connected. And you may have an organizer that's able to answer a question outside of those hours if they happen to be available, but please just don't expect responses outside of those times, or expect them to be a little bit delayed depending on who your contact is and what time zone they live in. And we'll talk about this a bit more later as well, but just exercising that respect of knowing that we're all working from different time zones, and for one person it may be really early in the morning or really late at night, and even if you're on a roll, it's good to just keep that in mind and balance that when you're working together as a team, as well as with our organizing team as well.
I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the Techstars Online Startup Weekend. These are incredible innovators from across the country looking at creative solutions to fight COVID-19. I want to thank the participants for your dedication and your commitment. And this is Team Canada at its best, so good luck.
Awesome. So that came out kind of out of left field, but we had just set that to autoplay, so it would come up nice and quickly. But this is a message from the Government of Canada, from Navdeep Bains, Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. So that was just to get you guys all pumped up before we get going this weekend.
And that's a very good shout out from the Honourable Minister Navdeep Bains, and of course, industry, the Department of Innovation, Science and Industry has been a huge champion supporting entrepreneurship in its various facets over the past few years. So we thank Minister Bains for appearing and cheering you on.
Awesome.
We also have a message, a welcome note from the CEO of Techstars.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Brown, co-founder and CEO of Techstars. I am super humbled and honored to see how many people have come together at such a critical moment all around the world. COVID-19 has created this shared experience for all of us in different countries, where we're all experiencing many of the same shift in lifestyle. And I think it's so great that so many people are coming together to help solve what is the world's most important problem of our lifetime. So a little bit on Techstars. We're all about entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I'm 55 years old. I've never had a job interview. I've only ever worked at startups. And at Techstars, we invest in entrepreneurs all around the world. We've made over 2,000 investments now in companies that are really changing the world and making it a better place. And so that's really what this weekend is all about. It's based on our in-person version of Startup Weekend. I have a old school Startup Weekend Fargo t-shirt on from many years ago. But we're going to see if we can launch some incredible ideas over the course of the next 54 hours or so. So I'm sure you're all eager to get on with it. I just wanted to provide a few words of encouragement. I'm going to participate. I'm going to mentor and judge in various programs around the world. And this is your chance to make the world a better place. Entrepreneurs are more important than ever before. It is really important that we come up with some big ideas and some big solutions to solve what is the world's biggest problem of our lifetime. For our part, we're going to be inviting 20 of the best participants from all around the world to join the Techstars Innovation Bootcamp to be able to progress their great ideas even further. So thanks a lot for letting me drop in, and thanks for joining us in this super important work. Have an awesome weekend and good luck. It's going to be a really great ride.
Thank you. Very inspiring words from David Brown. So what is Startup Weekend all about? Startup Weekend is one of the leading catalysts, in fact, for startup creation and entrepreneurship education around the world. And its mission is to educate and inspire entrepreneurs and like you, and provide the motivation and networking opportunities to take the next step in creating a successful startup company. So you'll learn in real time what it's like to take an idea, to breathe life into an idea over 54 hours, and then be pitching it on Sunday afternoon, working under pressure, working in teams. Startup Weekend was founded in 2007, and it's become the model. It's scaled extensively. It's a hyper local grassroots movement globally. And so the mission, whether this is your first time attending a Startup Weekend or your 5th time or your 10th time, is to have fun. But Startup Weekend is also very action oriented, and it's a learning journey. And it's going to help you understand how to go through the process of getting an idea on the ground. And you never know, you may meet your future co-founder in a Startup Weekend. Your idea may continue on, and over 4,000 companies have been launched out of Startup Weekend ideas around the world. You're going to learn new skills, whether it be coding or business, customer validation, working under deadlines, collaborating, and in our case, working remotely. And working on the product is just one part. It's really about building a community of respect. And this is, again, a very exciting Startup Weekend, potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you're going to be exposed to a community of partners, mentors, and coaches and experts coast to coast across Canada. And we're coming together as a country to really develop ideas that could change the world. So a Techstars online weekend like this, it really takes the best of our in-person experience that we would get at a regular Startup Weekend and exemplifies it with a scope and reach using the best digital tools available. So you're going to learn a lot about digital tools such as Discord. And it might be, whether it's your first or the 10th time at a Startup Weekend, it's going to be extraordinary, very different, but a huge learning opportunity. So the map with all of the organizers that we showed you, those organizers pulled this event together in less than a month, and the Startup Weekends are taking place in more than 70 potential participating countries around the world, and they're 100% online. And this is a map of all the Techstars Startup Weekend COVID-19 events happening around the world in April. And you can see there the distribution of those 70 plus Startup Weekends. And in fact, several countries are hosting Startup Weekend this very weekend, the same weekend, including the US as well as Australia, China, France, Indonesia, and many, many others. In fact, the majority of the Startup Weekends in April are happening this weekend. Startup weekends are meant to be a safe place to bring people together to learn, build, and grow. And in order to give a sense of how Startup Weekend has scaled, Startup Weekend began in 2007. It was founded in Boulder, Colorado, and they brought together 70 participants to try and create a startup in 54 hours. And the model expanded and exploded as a grassroots movement around the world. So there are now more than 350,000 alumni. Many of them could include you, as you have gone through Startup Weekend again before. Over 12,000 organizers in over 1,300 cities. And the 12,000 organizers and volunteers are really the driving force in Startup Weekend success. So over 4,000 ventures have been launched at Startup Weekends around the world. So once you go through a Startup Weekend, you will have access to an amazing community and amazing resources. And again, no matter where you are in other countries, you may end up attending a Startup Weekend there as well. For this Startup Weekend, we have over 55 partners, both national and local, and over 24 amazing organizers. We can't say enough about the team of organizers that put this together, who've worked very hard and put this together in less than a month. And it's covering over 108 cities.
Awesome. Thanks, Mary. So I just want to quickly remind everyone that if you're just kind of getting to know each other, chatting, sharing kind of random stuff with each other, that is great. We encourage it. But please just keep that to the chit chat channel on Discord. If you're asking a question about what we're addressing right now, or if you have a general question about the weekend, please put those in the Ask Me Anything channel. That'll just make it a little bit easier for our organizing team to triage those questions throughout the presentation. So next, I just wanted to chat a little bit about how, communities in the world are really coming together through so many different events. I'm sure you all, like me, have been on plenty of different webinars. You've heard of lots of different hackathons and initiatives that are happening. There's lots of great advocacy efforts going on as well for our innovation and technology communities here in Canada. But really the end goal is for us to just all support one another. And all of these are just kind of little pieces of the puzzle of what it takes to get through a really challenging time like this. So this is really an opportunity to focus on solutions specific to Canada. So this event is about you, it's about our country. Startup weekends happen all across the country, but this is the one chance that you get. And I think it's a really amazing opportunity to actually work on projects that could affect the entire country. Right out of the gates. So you don't have to worry about, you're not thinking about, what's my expansion plan across from, Calgary to Toronto in the next year. You already have a team of people spread out across the entire country that can help you do that. So I think that's just really, really unique and something to think about throughout this weekend. So COVID-19 has really taken us all by surprise. Like I mentioned, 2 weeks before we went into lockdown, we were hosting a startup weekend, just like, any other event that was happening. And it wasn't until this lockdown that I realized how much our startup community revolves around connectivity and events and being able to engage with one another and work on projects. And I just think that, this is such a great chance to, and a kind of a glimmer of light in something that can feel really dark at times. So in terms of the global stats of COVID-19 globally, there's been over 2 million cases, but we've also had over 500,000 recoveries, and we're on, over 30 days of lockdown at this time. Looking at Canada, we have 43,551 cases. We've had over 15,000 recoveries, and again, we're on about 30 plus days of lockdown. So we've really all gone through the different cycles, I think, at this point of shock and grief and hope going through a pandemic like this. We've all had to, transition to remote work, learn how to support one another from afar. And we're learning all of these things, and I think that, you know, implementing some of the solutions to the problems that you've identified and seen throughout all of this is, you know, a way when we're all just trying to find a way to, you know, discover some meaning in the middle of this and actually take action and be able to come up with solutions and support our country, but from inside of our homes. I just think that's really, really powerful. So the effects of COVID-19 are global. We're all feeling it in a completely different way. So we just, you know, remind you to lead with empathy. And actually, one of the Alberta entrepreneurs that spoke on one of our webinars recently said something to the group, and he said to make decisions with your head, but execute those decisions with your heart. And I think that that's something to keep in mind throughout this entire weekend is, you know, I know everyone's going to be excited and eager to get going, but, you know, lead with all of your actions with your heart. So I just want to pass it off to Mary now to say a few words to remember the lives that have been lost during this time.
So just to echo what Danielle has just mentioned and the words of David Brown, this is a very huge challenge in our lifetimes, and we do want to take 30 seconds of silence to remember the lives of those that have been lost, not just across Canada, but around the world. So we'll take 30 seconds of silence just to remember those lives.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for saying a few words about that as well. So we do also want to take a minute to recognize also the frontline and essential workers that are, you know, risking their lives during this time to support us. I know I personally have a few of my closest friends are ICU nurses, and they're really taking it to heart and are going into work every day with exactly all the things we've been saying, you know, leading with empathy and really caring. So from your homes, let's all give them a round of applause.
You bet.
Thank you. I think there's definitely something to be said about all of the different cities who are, you know, their downtowns are getting to have that round of applause. I actually live in the suburbs, so I never really get to experience that. So I'm thinking of all of you clapping in your homes right now. So thinking about what's next, we're going to talk about a few of the different verticals that we've, you know, used to help you brainstorm ideas for what to work on this weekend. But just keeping in mind that, you know, we're all really just reacting to this. People are moving at rapid pace. Businesses, both new and old, are pivoting and making huge changes to their business models, or just trying to keep the lights on at this time. So I'm really excited at the opportunity this weekend presents to actually put some solutions in front of these companies and these individuals. And it, you know, health is obviously at the forefront of that, but we're going to also share a couple of examples that involve other ways that you can really support your community at this time. So the 6 verticals that we've put out for brainstorming, and again, you know, we had lots of great ideas that were submitted, and they fall across all of these all of these verticals, but they're also outside of those verticals as well, and that's completely okay. This is still meant to be open-ended. We're really just here to inspire you as to how you can act and really support your community through this time. So I'm just going to go through each of these verticals independently and share kind of who some of the individuals are that you would be supporting or which communities. So obviously, like I mentioned, at the forefront, we have health. So can we find ways to scale health initiatives and identify new solutions to help healthcare systems cope with this overwhelming demand? So again, this is the whole reason why we're staying home, is to really support those frontline workers and those first responders. And if there's ways that we can make their lives better, I really think it's our job to do that. So the next one is vulnerable populations. So again, thinking about who is most affected during this time, whether it's people with pre-existing conditions, whether it's our seniors, or our homeless population as well through this time. So people are dealing with poverty. They're losing their jobs, they're struggling during this time. And although there are lots of support measures that are in place, there's still so many different populations that are vulnerable during this time. And are there specific ways that we can support those groups? So how can we help the needy and support them to tide over this difficult time? So the next is businesses, and we've seen, I'm sure all of you have seen this firsthand. Our startup community is struggling through this. So what are the ways that you can actually help businesses today stay afloat and collaborate effectively while working remotely? I know you've probably all seen the jokes about how we all wish that we had invested in Zoom. Well, this is one of those examples of what are those collaboration tools that can actually make us more efficient from our homes. Businesses are quickly transitioning to e-commerce and just trying to find ways to kind of keep the lights on or even differentiate themselves during a time like this. And the next is our community. So like I mentioned, you don't realize how much not just the startup community, but all types of communities, really rely on that in-person connectivity. We've all seen conferences. Some of our partners for Startup Weekend are actually our Canadian conferences. So of course we have Collision at Home, Traction Conference as well. We have Startup Grind. These are all events that happen throughout the year and may or may not be able to happen through this time. So there's lots of different ways that we can come together in this crisis, combat social isolation, and promote continued connectivity. I think we're all, even right now, I'm like, this is weird, this is different. I'm just sitting in my apartment talking to you guys, but we're gonna have to continue to think about how we really set the stage for meaningful connections and what the tools are to do that. And second to last is entertainment. So, are there alternatives to traditional forms of entertainment to keep everyone safe and healthy? So I know that there's been, again, jokes on the internet about I finished Netflix or I beat Netflix. So, how can you actually stay busy, engage your mind, and think of new things to do? And the last vertical here is education. So can we create alternative learning environments and tools for teachers and students to deliver lessons effectively? So we know that all of our primary schooling, post-secondary, everything has gone virtual. How can we actually leverage some new tools for delivering those sessions virtually, sharing assignments, grading, etc. So I hope these are, going through these has helped kind of start to inspire you and think about what are the ways that you can actually, support the community during this time. There's going to be so many different, the potential is there, there's so many possibilities. We would say that our caution to you is, you may address multiple verticals, but should you is the question. We know that you're passionate and that you really just want to find ways to help. But just keep in mind that this is just one weekend. Now that you have the connections nationally, there's lots of opportunities for you to continue to show your support beyond this weekend as well, and potentially develop further solutions as well. I'm going to pass it back over to Mary to talk a little bit about our global partners. Oh, maybe I'm not. Mary just accidentally dropped off the call. 1 second. I'll keep going without her though. Oh, she's back. Good timing.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It was perfect timing. You're fine. And I was prepared to go on without you, but we're glad you're back.
My internet had a little glitch in it. So just part of what we're probably going to experience here this weekend.
Yeah,
so,
my Chrome browser crashed right before this, and I was like, oh no. So
yeah, a little moment of truth. So thank you very much, Danielle. I wanted to talk about our global partners and send out a huge thank you to all of our global partners. Techstars has brought in an amazing community of partners that are contributing resources, prizes for this event. So we'll go over these now. So Google for Startups, it connects Google's products, connections, and best practices to help startups grow. They've been an important partner for Startup Weekend over the years, helping to build and scale communities all over the world. And as an attendee of Startup Weekend, you are now part of the Google for Startups community, which gives you access to the best of Google. This means you can get access to Google products. So Startup Weekend attendees have access to $300 in Google Cloud credits. So if you want to learn about Google products that can help your startup, and this is everything from AdWords that could help you test an idea in the market, all the way through to Firebase. You can, there's a link on the slide, and you can you can have access to these tools. And one of the things that Google does is it reminds people that Google grew from a startup to a global company and learned its fair share of lessons along the way. So they want to help you learn from their journey, and they've curated a collection of best practices from hiring to rapid prototyping, and these are all available on startup.google. So Newstar, which was formerly .co, so those of you who were at prior Startup Weekends will probably recognize the .co. As part of the partnership with Newstar, each participant can register a free domain name with Newstar using the code, so the code that's unique to our Startup Weekend. So this is the participant code that you see in the slide. So it's Startup Weekend Canada 424501. And participants can redeem the code by going to the website that's shown there, startupweekend.newstar, and the code will be active. It gives you a free domain name with Newstar. It's active until the first Thursday following the event, and it's applicable once per participant. And for more information, you can visit Newstar's FAQs or reach out to their support team. So Differential Ventures, Techstars has partnered with Differential Ventures, and they are a seed stage venture cap from New York, and they offer 5 $10,000 grants to the teams that graduate from the Techstars Innovation Bootcamp. So what happens at all of the global COVID Startup Weekends, the 3 teams that move on from Canada and from other countries are accepted into the Techstars Innovation Bootcamp. And out of the Techstars Innovation Bootcamp, the Differential Ventures, the seed venture capital is available to 5 of those teams graduating from their bootcamp. And they're to venture back. They provide venture backing, and they're going to be looking for companies that are using data science, everything from machine learning to support or relief efforts for victims of COVID. So you can find out more about them on their website. Adobe Spark. A lot of you will be familiar with that, but it's a great resource to leverage design graphics. It's great for your pitch decks. It allows teams to easily create graphics, videos, any storytelling posts that make your presentations really stand out. So this is a starter plan that's free. You don't need a credit card. It's a special offer, and you're going to have access to some of the premium features, and it's free for 2 months. So there's a bit.ly code giving you the URL on the slide. And again, we're going to share all of these slides with you, so you'll have access to all of this information. Upwork. This is a prize that's useful to you as you transition, even after Startup Weekend. So as you work remotely with your team and sort of look at the next steps, it provides dedicated advisors to help you find and hire talent. It could be that you're looking for freelance work or want to receive proposals. There's various tools that they have that will help you find people with work history. And this is a free month upgrade to Upwork Plus, and a link to register on their site. Wiley. So Wiley has compiled and made accessible for free, open access, a vast resource of COVID-19 related research for use in projects. So this provides, this is a great body of knowledge that can help you provide context. So it includes everything from articles and book chapters. It has accredited research findings, so you can be sure that this is accredited knowledge and you can that you can access. And it's everything from trusted health science publications, research articles, and they're freely available in support of the global efforts in treatment, prevention, in disease, other information, and you can access these, have free access to the content, and register using the link on the slide. In addition, we want to send out a huge thank you to our national partners, our community partners across the country. These partners have worked with us over the past few weeks to spread the word about this event through their social media channels, their networks, and within their communities. And it's helped us get representation right across as many Canadian communities as possible. And many of them are providing, some of them are providing prizes, and we'll talk about them as well. But this is a wonderful set of resources available across Canada. Companies, our partners, are advancing and supporting startups and small business in various ways. And to learn more and connect with these organizations, you can visit our community page, and all are hyperlinked there, so you can find out more about them. And there's another slide, there's the second slide.
I already showed both slides. You're good.
Thank you. And also Unbounce is provided local partner participant perks, as well as MedStack. So Unbounce is happy to support with a 3-month free plan for every team. And there's a link to find out more about it or to sign up. And MedStack is being offered to all participating companies. This gives you 50% discount on MedStack's month-to-month startup package. And it's available for 6 months, and or a 50% discount for 12 months on annual subscriptions. So it's quite a savings. And we covered a little bit about the Techstars boot camp. So this is a Techstars global prize. So the top 20 teams will be invited to attend the Techstars Innovation Boot Camp following all of the global COVID startup weekends and the national level. And the top 5 boot camp graduates will each receive a prize of $10,000. This is, again, the grant from Differential Ventures that have partnered with Techstars. So covered that a little bit, but just want to highlight it again because it's an amazing prize. local prizes. We have a ton of local prizes, everything from Founder Institute to the Collision Boost .ai, and there's a host of prizes available for each of those, and we'll be providing more information on that throughout the weekend.
Okay, thanks, Mary. So just a quick reminder that if you're on social media, again, there's 2 hashtags if you joined us a little bit late. So there's the hashtag COVID-19 Startup Weekend. So that is the global hashtag. That being said, it's very busy because, as we mentioned, there's tons of events happening this weekend using that hashtag. So if you want to cut through the clutter, use our Canadian hashtag, which is SW Online Canada. That's also the same as our Twitter handle, which is SW Online Canada. If you're on other channels like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Startup Weekend Canada is on Facebook. Otherwise, please tag Techstars or the global Startup Weekend accounts to get social. So again, there was that QR code at the beginning, but feel free to share any of your learnings throughout the weekend. So whether you got a really great piece of advice from a mentor, or maybe you learned something really cool during one of the workshops or sessions, we really encourage you to share and show the country what we're up to this weekend.
Yay.
Yay. So what will you do this weekend? So we've really drilled this into you guys, but this is really a once in a lifetime opportunity to connect with other attendees and participants from all across the country, connecting with mentors, judges, our organizing team. This really is an all hands on deck effort. Like Mary said, we have 455 participants. We have like over 60 mentors and tons of judges. So if you're looking to kind of see exactly who's involved, again, check out our community page. So this is where you would have originally registered. I know we'll have that link shared in lots of different places. It was in your confirmation email and your reminder email this morning. So that's where you'll be able to go and connect with all of the organizers, mentors, etc. All of their social media profiles are linked there. But the one thing that we really want to drive home is, take advantage of all of those different, resources and opportunities to connect. And remember that once this weekend's over, there is a what's next. So how are the relationships that you're building this weekend going to continue to make an impact after it's all over? So, it can seem tempting to be very, very heads down throughout the weekend and just want to get your work done, but there's all the time in the world to do that right now working from home. And this is a chance for you to really broaden your network across the entire country. So we really, really recommend that you take advantage of that. Make sure that you understand that this is a different environment and communicating with your team is even more important than ever. So having open communication through Discord, making sure that you have really clear roles and responsibilities, that you're delegating as well, even though it takes that extra step than it normally would at a startup weekend to delegate something. Please make the conscious effort to do so. We want to make sure that everyone has a role and everyone feels that they really are playing a part. So again, leading those decisions with your heart. And remembering that nobody is CEO. So a lot of you have come into this with really great ideas, but that's kind of where your role as quote unquote CEO or leader ends. So we've asked you to, or we will ask you to submit your team information, but in terms of the direction that idea takes, we really, really strongly ask you to let that be a team experience. So, whether you're going through validation, developing the prototype or minimum viable product, make sure that you're making decisions as a team based on the information that you collect together during this weekend. So next, we're just going to chat a little bit about what the overview is for the entire weekend. So really, Startup Weekend is about figuring out what it takes to build and launch a startup. And you do that so quickly and with all the right people that you need around you. So one of the number one reasons that startups struggle, I think, in the early stages is that they just don't know what resources to access, how to find a team. We've put that all into one weekend for you here. So this is, again, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So really take the time today and tonight to get to know your teammates online. Share a little bit of background about each other, what your skill sets are, and not only that, but what you actually want to do this weekend. So it's okay if you're generally a developer and this weekend you want to work on marketing. That's fine. We encourage it. It's a safe place to do that. Work on ideating with the virtual toolkit, which we'll share in the resources channel afterwards. We're also going to share lots of different links to workshops and classes that you can participate in. So again, lots of opportunities to learn. And just so that's a good time for me to mention that there's in Discord, and I'll go over this in more detail later as well, but the resources and tools channel in Discord, our team's been working really hard to put a lot of different great resources there for you. We will just continue adding to it throughout the weekend. We'll also be adding the slides to that channel as well, so you'll definitely want to keep an eye on it. So Friday, the key part tonight is really, and we'll make sure we give you kind of your checklist of things to do before you log off tonight, but it really is about team formation. So getting together, we'll talk about that process in quite a bit of detail towards the end of the presentation, because we just want to make sure that you don't forget any of the important pieces that come along with it. If you, just as a heads up too, if you somehow, some way made it to Discord, but you did not register on Eventbrite, you need to let us know. So Eventbrite is currently closed, but if you did not register, we will not have all of your appropriate contact information, which makes it very challenging for you to get any of the global partner resources from Techstars after the event. So if you haven't done that, again, just reach out. I'll say to your organizing or your sub-facilitator lead once we've kind of got going on all of this. So for Saturday, tomorrow, we have, again, like I mentioned, over 60 mentors that are going to be here to support you. So that'll be taking place tomorrow morning. So I'll mention this later too, but make sure that you've, as to the best of your ability, tried to join a team by 10:30 a.m. so that you can really take advantage of those mentorship sessions. The master classes will be shared tomorrow morning. So Mary's going to give an overview of that during your check-in. And you'll also be working on your final pitch deck as well. So tomorrow, the main focus really is getting to work. So you're going to want to spend the morning making sure that you're talking to potential customers. Normally, we get on you to get out of the building. Obviously, you're not really getting out of the building anymore, but that's actually an interesting time in that people are at home and they're more available to you to reach out to. We're all also going to be online. So if you're looking to validate what you're working on, like you can ask for support with that as well. Yeah, so that's one piece there. On Sunday, so that'll be day 3. So, making sure that you're working on perfecting your pitch. You're going to be pitching virtually to an audience from around the world. So this will be initially submitted via video. So just think about how you want to pull that off. And again, remember that there is an end to this weekend, and think about what you want those takeaways to be throughout the whole or along the whole way. We'll also be hosting group check-ins throughout the weekend as well. So in terms of the detailed schedule, that community page, again, is kind of like your Bible for the weekend. So it gives you the play-by-play of what's happening and when. Again, everything is in Eastern Standard Time. You'll know when we have those check-ins. Anytime we have, whether it's a YouTube Live or a Zoom call as a group, those links will be posted to the announcements channel. So again, that's going to be one that you want to keep a really close eye on. And just thinking about how much is going to happen this weekend, don't get stuck for too long on any one stage. So don't spend too much time, focusing on your pitch deck or like all of your time specifically on validation, but never actually getting to work. So try to set yourself some timelines, and we're going to help you with that by distributing some forms to kind of collect some deliverables from you and see where you're at and make sure that you're on track. And your sub-facilitators will also be checking in with you frequently to make sure that you have everything that you need to make sure that you're moving at the pace that you need to, and there's no roadblocks that we can't actually help you with. So by the end of the night, the goal is that you will be in a team, but as I mentioned, making sure if it absolutely cannot happen tonight for whatever reason, just really, really working to make sure that that happens before 10:30 a.m. so that you can make the most of those mentorship sessions. For the workshops, Mary will talk about this too, but they are videos, so we recommend watching them as a team. And then, doing that before your meetings with the mentors, because then you'll kind of have that base knowledge so that you can then go ahead and ask more specific questions and make the most of your mentor's time. And yeah, Sunday we'll wrap up with that, the top 10 pitches and final pitch ceremony. So that'll be really exciting. We're going to see, it'll be open to any of the mentors or judges who are here throughout the weekend who want to come and watch as well. So that's always one of the highlights of the weekend, but we've got a lot of work to do between now and then. So I'll pass it off to Mary now to chat a little bit more about the judging criteria.
Great. Thank you, Danielle. Judging criteria. We want to share, we feel it's important to share the judging criteria with you early, and in the interest of being complete disclosure, fully transparent, but it also helps you as you begin your process of working as a team to make sure that you keep the judging criteria in mind. So we'll walk through that, and we're also going to be we'll be sharing this video again. Want to mention that again, but we'll be posting judging criteria in the resources channel as well. Danielle mentioned the 10 top teams. So just a little bit about the process. How does judging work? So it's a 3-minute pitch. You're going to be preparing that as a video, and you're going to be posting that to YouTube. There will be a form to fill out to submit, and you will be providing us with the YouTube link. And you'll also be using Google Slides. So you'll be using YouTube and providing URL as well as Google Slides. There are, given the number of people that we have, there's going to be anywhere from 40 plus teams onward and upward. So there are 2 rounds to the pitching and judging. So the first round, your first submission, everybody needs to submit their YouTube, your URL, and Google Slides at round 1 at 1:40 p.m. Sunday afternoon. And that is your deadline to remember, and we'll be reinforcing that again throughout the weekend. And then the top 10 teams that Danielle mentioned will be announced and they will receive instructions. So they then become the 10 finalists. The judges will select those using the judging criteria, and the top 10 teams will be announced at 3:30 Eastern time, and then the 10 presentations will begin at 4 p.m. And out of the 10 presentations, there will be 3 winners out of the Canadian COVID Startup Weekend. We'll be providing more information on that judging process again on Sunday morning, but we wanted to give you an idea now of what it is, and certainly that first deadline of when to submit your URL on YouTube. So judging criteria, there are 5 of them. We're going to walk through each of them. So the first one being problem and impact. And again, this is important. Don't overlook this one. A a lot of times people don't focus on the problem. They want to focus on the solution. They want to jump right to the solution. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. You want to, build something, but you need to slow down a little bit to really understand the problem. So first and foremost, are you solving a real problem? The judges are going to be looking for this. And is this problem related to COVID-19? And so they're looking for teams tackling problems related to COVID-19. And then have you validated that this is a problem with potential customers and for whom? Did you talk to potential customers? And again, remotely. So being accessing them and being able to validate and then figuring out, which customer segment more and more about the more you can figure out about those customers, the better. And we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow morning. And then, I always like to use the analogy of a coin. Think of this as a coin, with one side of the coin being the problem and the other side of the coin being the opportunity. So the more you can identify the problem, understand it, how big it is, how many people does it affect, how big is the market, and if you can develop a solution that addresses that problem or even a portion of that problem, then the bigger the impact and the bigger the opportunity. So judges, many of them are entrepreneurs themselves, or they're schooled, they've worked with teams and businesses. So they're very sharp. They will be looking at this, whether you're solving a real problem and is there a real opportunity. So that's the first one. And the second one, execution and design. So one of the things your team will work on this weekend is developing what's known as your minimum viable product, or an MVP. So this is a different use of the term MVP. And so if you note the definition, it's really a minimum feature set, a set of features that you could put in front of your customers that would enable you to start collecting more data or more information. So over the course of the weekend, you're not expected to develop your full completed final product. However, you will work on your minimum viable product, which will be an early stage version of your ultimate solution. And ideally, you're going to be able to test some version of that with potential customers or early adopters. And it will allow you to gather more data and more information to really more fully understand what your final solution should look like and what the features will be. And so gathering this kind of data is really a step 2 in customer validation. And over the course of the weekend, teams will work on their minimum viable product, be testing it with customers, gather more information from potential customers, and be able to articulate this in your final presentation with a clear description of what your solution will look like. And again, that's the link between the problem and your solution. So, what problem is it addressing? What would it look like? How would it work? Is it technically feasible? And even if it's a diagrammatic or a schematic version to help the listener understand what is your minimum viable product. And they're looking for, were you able to demo something functional? And you can think of companies, that started with something very minimal. So Danielle used an example in the conversation yesterday that I thought was a very useful analogy. So Airbnb started on Craigslist and learned more and more about the market, and then developed into Airbnb. So think about the minimum viable product. It's going to be an important piece of the judges' criteria. Execution and design. Originality. And so Startup Weekend is really about building something from the ground up, and your solution must be original. It cannot be something that already exists? So is it a new solution, or if it's an existing product, does it apply? Is there something innovative in the way it's delivered or developed? So does it apply an existing solution in a new and innovative way? So when we think of innovation, an innovative solution, it must be novel. The novelty must be present. So your idea and solution in total, it cannot be something that already exists. And as a corollary, this also means that it cannot be a solution that you've already built prior to Startup Weekend. So think about your current final solution. Does it already exist? And if so, then it's not original. So this is something to check out thoroughly while developing your solution. And you're likely to be asked about this, the novelty of your solution, and that's going to be a key piece to put in your presentation. What separates your solution from what already exists out there in the market? And you'll need to be able to address this. And feasibility, is the product feasible, and can it be launched within a few months? Is it realistic in terms of the legal and technical and scientific aspects of the solution? So in other words, does it require clinical trials or a large years of testing, like a new medical solution? Does it require rare materials? Is it something that's currently illegal or requires a major legal or legislative change? It should be possible to build and launch the product within a reasonable time frame. And in that, by reasonable, we mean a few months. So, and you'll see a note here that there are exceptions. Exceptions can be made. So if it's a particularly impactful solution that's going to take a longer time, if those solutions are large, exceptions can be made, but generally they're looking for feasibility. And they're also looking for, can the team carry it out? Is it something that the team could actually build? And if it's not, does the team need more resources or more capability? Have they been able to identify what those resources are? And is it likely that they would be able to define those resources? Those are all sort of part of feasibility. And the business model, and Startup Weekend, this is where Startup Weekend really does differ from, say, a coding camp or a hackathon. Your solution must be couched in a business model with a revenue stream and customers and what's called a business model. We'll talk more about that tomorrow morning, but this is where you have clearly defined customers. You are able to talk about something like value proposition, which is how you create value is by solving a problem and creating value for your end users. And you have a clear understanding of that value the more you talk with those customers. So that's part of your business model. What are the costs? What are the revenues? Do you have any key partners? What is your rollout strategy, and how are you going to grow your customer base, etc.? Those are all part of your business model. We're going to talk in more depth tomorrow about that, but that is the fifth criteria, and the judges will be looking for that as well.
Awesome, thanks, Mary. So we're going to just show you a couple of the photos of the mentors, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to see some familiar faces, but really we're having a group of, oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
And Danielle, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. There's a little bit of a lag there, I think. So for mentors,
Danielle, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Were you able to hear me over the last little while?
Yep, I could hear you till the end of your business model chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to chat a little bit about mentors now. So we have, like I said, over 60 people from coast to coast. We have founders and educators and community leaders and investors, and it's an amazing network of people that are here to support you this weekend. So we've set up some structured mentoring and then some not so structured mentoring, but it's all really with the goal of making sure that you have as much support and coaching throughout this entire weekend. So I'm just going to talk while I kind of scroll through some of these photos so you can start to see who you might know in your respective communities. But the mentorship sign-up form will be distributed at 9:45 a.m. EST tomorrow morning. And mentorship slots will be set up for 15-minute time blocks there. So you'll be able to sign up for that expertise as well. And just think about how you can make the most of your mentor's time. So like do your research in advance, read their bios on the website and kind of get to know who they are and how you can make the most of that time with them. We will be using Zoom for some of those meetings. So one of your deliverables tonight as part of signing up your team is also creating a Zoom account, one Zoom account per team. I'll remind you of this again later, but submitting that link so that we can make sure that we're matching you appropriately with your mentors. If you need mentorship outside of the defined mentorship time slot, we have a channel in Discord that is I Need Mentorship. And we have a couple of mentors that are on call and who've agreed to kind of pop in and out throughout the weekend, take a look, see how they can support. A lot of our mentors I've noticed have also been really engaged on Discord already. So there may be lots of people that are around and able to support you through this. So again, this is a great group of people. Really make the most of it. We've hyperlinked their LinkedIn and their Twitter if they have it on the Swoop or on the community page. So you'll learn more about that tomorrow. We'll make sure that all the steps that you need to know are available to you. So that should be pretty straightforward for everyone tomorrow. And that's that'll be kind of your main key highlight of the day, along with obviously doing your customer validation as well. So keep an eye out for more information on that. And then I just want to also quickly touch base and just show you the faces of who your sub-facilitators will be. So you may see them pop in and join your mentorship calls. Again, they're going to pop in and check on you throughout the weekend, see how you're doing, see what you need, make sure that you're in the right direction. You're not spending too much time on one particular spot. So these people are your go-tos, and a lot of them have also been working really hard leading up to this weekend. And it'll be a wealth of information for you and can answer any questions that you have. Again, if you cannot, for whatever reason, get a hold of your sub-facilitator, please, whenever possible, if it's not something that's very specific to that individual, try to use the Ask Me Anything channel. We also say that because it's the quickest way to get a response. So we're going to have people monitoring that constantly. And all of our organizers have access and are able to jump in and support you. And if you think that the answer to your question might be something that benefits the entire community of people that are attending this weekend, that's also a really, really good reason to make sure that you're doing that as well. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of my time on this slide. And don't worry about where you're like, oh, where's all my visuals of how this works? Discord is also amazing in that we have very detailed step-by-step instructions pinned to the top of all of the key channels. So thinking about team formation, the channels that you're going to want to know for absolute certain, so you've already been using the idea pitches channel. So this is where you've seen videos posted of those who submitted ideas that were selected. If you're looking for the initial communication that went out this morning, that links to the spreadsheet that shows you what all of those ideas are, that is posted to the announcements channel. And just so you know, the announcements channel can only be posted to from certain members of the organizing team. So no other messages can kind of get lost within there. So you can reference that. The other channel you want to look to is I Need a Team. So this is where if you're unsure which team to join, or you really are just joining based on your expertise and you're not super stuck on which idea or which team you want to work with, post there and start to share kind of what your background and expertise is, what you can bring to the table. And then if you're looking for people for your team, this is also going to be a really important channel for you. So feel free to repost. Obviously, like, give it some time. Some people are just kind of getting onboarded, but feel free to post your video to that channel and remind people that you're still looking for team members. Help them out by telling them exactly kind of what types of team members you're looking for, whether you're looking for maybe a developer, a designer, a UX person, whatever that case may be. And we'd also like to recommend that when you, a lot of you have updated your names in Discord to your first name, last name, then in brackets where you're from. So I have, for example, Danielle Torrey in brackets AB for Alberta. We'd also like to suggest that you add your area of expertise. So Jade has posted something to the I Need a Team channel, kind of showing you what you can use. So say if your background is development, you'd put in brackets by your name, DEV for dev, or UX, or BUS for business. So highlighting all of those things there. And then the next channel you'll need is, once you're actually starting to put that team together, and also particularly helpful for the team leads, is the how to form a team channel. So this is where you're going to find the spreadsheet and form that you'll need to fill out with all of your team contact information. So please just have your team lead focus on this. And then in the deliverable form that's distributed later tonight, that'll be one of your main deliverables. Really is making sure that your team has been, in fact, registered. So your team lead should be coordinating that. If you're looking for a team, reach out to them directly via message. Feel free to respond to their post in the Idea Pitches channel, whatever is most effective for you. The pitches that have been posted are 60 seconds, so it should be pretty quick to get through all of those and start to get a sense of what everybody is working on. If you see an idea that interests you, like, you can find out who that person is also in that spreadsheet that I was originally pointing out under the announcements channel. And then, yeah, once your team is formed, again, just make sure that that's like your one kind of job before the end of the night. We know it's not 100% static. You may have people come and go throughout the weekend, and that is completely okay. People come and go with teams at a startup weekend for multiple reasons. We've seen it where maybe you notice that another team didn't have a developer, and you have 3 on your team. So you thought, why not spread the love a little bit? Or perhaps maybe you're just, you realize you're not actually as passionate about the idea and you want to move on to something different. Or sometimes obviously there's issues with team dynamic. So whatever the reason is, we are here to support you. Please don't leave because you feel frustrated and like you're stuck in the team that you've joined on Friday. So that's what your sub-facilitators are for. That's what Mary and I are for. So please just don't hesitate to reach out to us. The one thing I wanted to mention as well, when Mary was talking about minimum viable product, is don't get discouraged if you don't have someone who's highly technical on your team. So minimum viable product is intended to be simple. It's intended to be something that you don't necessarily need a developer for to create. If you have one, that's amazing. That's super awesome, but it's not essential. It's not going to make or break your performance this weekend. So just try not to worry too much about that. And make sure that you're forming teams with people with complementary skills. So that's why, again, we're asking you to highlight your skill set in your name. It'll help you find a team. It'll help other people recruit you if they realize they're missing a certain skill set as well. And a couple of people have asked about creating of Discord groups for their teams. So this won't happen until after kickoff. Holy crap, I've been talking too long. Kickoff is over. Then you'll start to see those formed. Please note that they're not private. That being said, this is a community. We trust that you won't be randomly going into each other's groups for no reason. We will, if it's happening for the wrong reasons. If it's happening for the right reasons, maybe you want to help, maybe you're again exploring changing teams or something like that, that's okay. If you're there just kind of hanging out and whatever, we will, potentially remove you from that space to give that team their privacy and make sure that they're able to work. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, so next I just want to chat a little bit about, this really is a safe place. Startup Weekend is about trying something new. It's not all about the end result and the outcome of what you're able to put together. So we've created and tried to create a very inclusive event, bringing in different partners and people from all over the country, big cities, small town, different types of communities all over. The ideas and the problems that we're addressing are intended to be inclusive as well. So please just keep this in mind as a guide for the weekend. Again, executing on all of your decisions by leading with your heart. I think that's super important. And we want to make sure that we can give everyone the best experience possible. This is different in that we are all, using Discord and tech tools, and we're kind of behind a screen, and we're all feeling a lot of things right now. We're feeling isolated. We're feeling frustrated. Some days we wake up and we're super optimistic, and other days it's just hard to get out of bed, and that's just the reality. So be patient with each other, lead with empathy, be caring, be respectful, and that people aren't operating at 100% productivity right now, and that's okay. And we're all really just doing our best. So please just try to keep this in mind throughout the weekend in the way that you're interacting with each other. Also note that when you did sign up through Eventbrite, and also when you opted in through Discord, that you agreed to a terms of agreement and a code of conduct essentially for this weekend. So if anyone on the organizing team ever feels that you are not being accountable to that code of conduct, and that means, potentially posting something on one of the Discord channels, perhaps messaging something inappropriate to another member of the community here, we will not tolerate it. So we just want that to be clear. We hope we don't have to have any of these types of discussions, but we just have to say it up front that we will reach out to you immediately. We will remove any posts that are disrespectful or inappropriate immediately as well. If you're having any problems, obviously like one-on-one in a private chat that we cannot see, please screenshot the message, send it to your sub-facilitator or one of us, Mary or myself, and we will step in and do our best to support you through that. So yeah, if you wouldn't do it in the workplace, don't do it here. That's always the Startup Weekend kind of motto. So just making sure that you're keeping your conversations fun and positive, and again, being respectful of how everyone is dealing with this, and again, remembering that we really are all in this together. So on that note, get off my soapbox. So just wanted to chat a little bit about Discord and Zoom. So after I chat about a few high-level things, I'm going to show you all a video from Jade on how to make sure that you're getting set up properly on Discord. This is mostly just for initial setup. So if you're already in there, which I hope a lot of you are, this won't be, you won't need this as much, but we just want to make sure that everyone has a quick sense of how this works. So again, each channel has really great step-by-step instructions of what kind of that channel is all about and what to do. And yeah, so that's all good to go. I'm going to play a video from Jade. So yeah, no, he doesn't necessarily need to present. He can if he wants to. So yeah, so just make sure that you'll also see that actually participants are categorized by type. So for example, I'm in, I think it's like a pink for being a facilitator. Organizers are in orange. Jade is in like a dark orange because he's the administrator. So those are all the things that you'll see. We have a really fun like music channel set up. So you kind of just have to join that if you want to listen to the playlist. You can make song requests. I have actually never used Discord until about a week ago, and I'm already having a blast with it. So make the most of all of those different means of communicating with each other. If you're ever having a hard time finding something, again, a great place for that is the Ask Me Anything channel. Again, make sure you've introduced yourself. Those are kind of the steps to go through. And it's very much a necessity to get through the weekend. So a lot of times with startup weekends, maybe we use Slack. Someone manages to kind of get through the whole weekend without ever having logged on to Slack. That is not an option this time. So basically, as of today, the emails you receive from us are over until the end of the weekend when we start to distribute prizes to the winning teams. So if you want to stay up to date with what's going on and get the links and access to mentorship, you must be on Discord and embrace it. And by the end, you're going to be a total master of it, I promise. And again, if you're having trouble with Discord itself, there's a Discord support channel. So Jade's kind of our go-to expert for that stuff, so he'll be able to help you out. And now I'm going to play his video. We'll get that going here, and then Mary and I will just mute ourselves to try and reduce any echo.
The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the link that you got in your email or wherever for the Discord server, and you're just going to copy it and paste it straight into the browser. Like so. Once it loads up, it's going to say something along this line. It will tell you about a different server first, but since I already have the Discord app, it's going to say something like this. So what you're going to do is hit continue to Discord if that's the case. And then it should load up the login page. So since you're coming into Discord for the first time, you're actually going to hit register. And you're going to create a brand new account using your email. Once you have made that account, it's going to ask you to create your own server, all these fun stuff, but you can ignore that for the time being. So why don't you just close that out? And once again, just paste the invitation again. It should load you right into the Discord server right away. We're going to join it and put that link in there. And now you're attached to the server. So now that you've attached yourself to the server, what you're going to do is you're going to read over the welcome invitation that we have here for you and move on to the README channel. So in the README channel, we have a couple rules, regulations, and a couple of pointers and tips about other channels that are going to be available to you. But once you've read through it, click this little green check mark at the bottom here, and that'll assign you the role of attendee. So you get a little message from one of our bots, and it's going to tell you, thank you for selecting your role as an attendee. Now that that's happened, you have all this information here and all these channels for you to kind of go through and connect with and figure out each piece out. A lot of the information is already here on this opening page here for you about what each of these channels really mean. First thing I would suggest is coming into the introduce yourself and fill out this little profile here, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're thinking. So not just the organizing crew can know more about you, but so can other attendees to the weekend as well. One of the most important things you're going to have to do this weekend is connecting to voice chat so you can connect with other members of the startup weekend, hear from the organizers, or connect with mentors. So to connect with people or connect into a voice room, you'll see it's got a little audio icon here. All you have to do is left click to join that chat. And to hang up or to remove yourself from this chat, just hit this little disconnect button and it'll remove yourself from the chat as well.
Awesome. Sorry, every time I try to unmute myself, my mouse freezes, which is super awesome. So you would have received the link to Discord via your attendee or email confirmation. We also sent out an email this morning if you'd already been registered. And again, this will also be, I mean, this is really super helpful because we're going to distribute this on Discord. So if you have an invalid link or any trouble getting into Discord, again, please email us at canada@startupweekend.org. So that's where we'll be able to send you a new link and make sure that you're completely up to speed. We did send out an initial email earlier this week, and there was an invalid link, but we sent out another email this morning. So please make sure you're referencing that email for the link. Awesome. Okay, so just have one more slide to go through, and this is really just these are the things to make sure that you take care of before the end of the night. The one thing I didn't mention when talking about teams was the lower and upper limit. So you have to have a minimum of 5 people on your team. What that means is that you cannot work on this in isolation. You can't work on this with less than 5 people. So you, as the person with the idea and the team lead, needs to find 4 people for a total of 5 on your team. The maximum per team is 10. So please make sure that you're following those rules as well. So by the end of the night, form your team. So again, get to work on those channels, the I need a team, how to form a team, and look at the idea pitches if you're wondering what ideas have been shared so far. From there, you're going to want to fill out the form to register your team, which will be set up through how to form a team through that channel as well. That's how you're going to share your contact information. Once that's been done, we will set you up with a channel on Discord so that you can communicate with each other there. We really encourage you as much as possible. We know there's lots of tools out there that you can use, but we really recommend that you try to stay on Discord as much as you can just to streamline things throughout the weekend. And then, yeah, tomorrow morning, we will have a check-in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be led by Mary. The link to that will be found in the announcements channel, and we are going to bounce a little bit back and forth between YouTube Live and Zoom, depending on whether we need the session to be interactive. So you'll see a difference in links. That's why that is the way that it is. And I think that is generally the gist. The mentor hours, as we mentioned, will go out at 9:45 a.m. EST, so you can start to sign up for those sessions.
And Danielle, I had just a couple of things I wanted to pick up on. One thing that you mentioned was the word inclusivity. So this is something we really want to stress for this weekend. A lot of people will ask, what happens if my idea doesn't get picked up by anybody, or I can't find 4 other people to work on my idea? Be open to jumping on another team, working on a different idea. You're going to learn many of the skills and all of the things that it takes to build a startup. You're going to learn them by working on another team. They're very transferable, and you can then take it back to work on your own idea. The other thing is be open to new team members. So there will be people that don't have a team, or they didn't find 4 other people to form a team. So we're expecting that, and that will happen on into this evening and for a little bit at the beginning of tomorrow morning. So please be open to new team members. Remember that everybody on a team adds a lot of value. Danielle talked about delegation. So everybody has something to add to the team, and whether it's designing, reaching out to customers, starting to work on the pitch deck, technical pieces. So you're going to need all of that talent. And I think that was it. Also, one other thing on how to form a team, the form is in how to form a team channel, but there's a 10-digit number which you will fill out on that form. And it's very important. Again, it's 1 number per team, but that number then becomes your ID number, and that's important because that's what you'll be using for the entire weekend, and your room will be assigned that way, your mentor as well. And just encouraging people to, don't hold back. Sometimes people, if they're not on a team, or they're just joining late and they haven't had a chance to chat about ideas, just go right into the I need a team channel and post. So we'd rather not have you kind of walk away from the weekend because you couldn't find a team. And again, as Danielle mentioned, reach out to us, reach out to the organizers, the sub-facilitators as well. But we're here to help you. We're here to help facilitate the process. That's the main thing. Is there anything else that we haven't touched, Danielle?
I think that's pretty much it. And anything we've missed or not said is or will be in Discord. And again, yeah, we're here on Discord. We'll probably be on a little bit later than the 9 p.m. EST standard tonight. But again, if we're being respectful of time zones, so if you need help and you can't get a hold of one of the organizers, think about who's in what time zone. So for example, I'm in Mountain Standard Time, so I will be available a little bit later. So yeah, just keep that in mind and get to work and trying to find a team.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much. We'll see you on Discord, and don't forget to, if you're having any trouble, you will find us all in the Ask Me Anything channel.
Great. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Talk soon, everybody.